This is Felix. Cute, right? This is Bess. I don't think cute even begins to cover it, do you? Felix and Bess are in charge of the Aistrop family, which also includes Mum Anna and me, Ivan. Hello. And for the last 6 months, the Aistrop family have been rocking around in the Honda Civic. Now, the Civic, Honda's small family car, has been around since the early 70s, and now in its 10th generation, you'd think it'd know how to cope with the demands of a small family by now, hence the reason for our test. In truth though, some previous versions of the Civic haven't quite hit the mark on that score, so there really was no guarantee that this car would fit the bill for us. So now that our 6-month tenure is over, it's time to look back and see how the car got on when faced with the ultimate test, this lot. As we've said, the whole reason we chose to run the Civic was to see whether the traditional small family car can deal with the needs of a small family. Well, it did a really great job. Yes, a bigger car like an estate, MPV or SUV will always make your life easier, but compared with other small hatchbacks, the Civic does the job better than most. There's easily enough space for our 2 child seats, complete with children obviously, and the boot is bigger than most as well, with enough space to fit our double buggy and a bunch of other bits and bobs. It's not perfect with a load lip to negotiate and a weird step in the floor, but that's not a deal breaker. Whichever version of the Civic you go for, you get loads of luxury kit as standard. Well, that's not strictly true. The entry-level S version doesn't, but the next rung up the ladder, the SE, does. And the upgrade cost barely anything at all. We upgraded a stage further to SR trim for even more luxuries, but more on that in a minute or two. The Civic is a really good car to drive, basically because it does everything you want it to do. Most importantly, it's comfortable enough to keep the family happy, and because it's also really light, it feels agile and sharp in the bends. The steering's really nice, the gear shift is fantastic, and the turbocharged 1 litre petrol engine is really smooth, really quiet, and it also delivers really perky performance. While the engine is impressive on performance, it's not nearly so impressive on the juice. The official figures look really good at 59 miles per gallon. And yeah, we all know that those figures are a little bit optimistic, but it's still a bit annoying that we've only just managed to scrape 40 miles per gallon. And that is a pretty big difference. The Civic's cabin may be nice and practical, but it isn't exactly full of the joys in here. The materials are a little bit humdrum in places, the colour scheme is very dark and dour, and the small windows mean that there's not a lot of natural light in here, especially in the back. By far the worst thing about this car. The graphics are dated, the screen's not sensitive enough, and it takes far too long to transition from one screen to another. But the worst bit is how illogical and convoluted the operating system is. Even simple stuff like changing the radio band or selecting a new station is ridiculously difficult, so much so that I still haven't got used to how it works after 6 months of trying. Despite 1 or 2 niggles, we're still satisfied that our Civic represents pretty much the best of the breed when it comes to the decisions we've made in speccing it. Excuse me for looking a little bit smug. We've checked with Honda and it turns out that pretty much every decision we've made accurately reflects what the majority of Civic buyers go for as well. The turbocharged 1.5 litre and 2 litre Type R engines are all very nice and powerful, but for most buyers there's no reason to look beyond the perky 129 horsepower 1 litre petrol engine. And while adding the continuously variable automatic gearbox makes your engine a fraction cleaner, it also makes it louder and costs you more money. So we'd stick with the slick shifting 6-speed manual you get as standard. We also got the best balance of kit and cost with the SR trim we chose, which is why most buyers do the same. It takes the already generous kit of the SE, which includes alloy wheels, aircon, Bluetooth, DAB radio and parking sensors, and it adds leather covered controls, automatic wipers, sat nav and a rear parking camera. You also get a really impressive suite of standard safety systems that includes automatic emergency braking. That system did go a bit haywire during our time with the car, which resulted in a trip back to the dealer for a repair. But the problem was sorted out with as little fuss as possible. We even chose the most popular colour for our car, that being the brilliantly named Brilliant Sporty Blue Metallic, which cost us £525. In fact, that was the only optional extra we added, because apart from a few aesthetic upgrades, there's not a lot you can add without upgrading to EX trim. Besides, SR trim is so well stocked that there's nothing that we really missed. So overall, our time with the Civic has been really positive. It's managed to survive family life, which is testament enough in itself, and it's kept us comfortable, entertained and largely hassle-free along the way. Yes, the car we replace it with will be bigger and more practical, if only so we can be less careful, well, lazier, about the way we load it up. But I can't think of many other family hatchbacks that would have suited us better, and the whole Aistrop clan is going to be pretty sorry to see it go.